Hello again. So we are on to part 2 of 4 of my dumb idea. So yeah, these are the next 4 books that I'm reading in this self-imposed reading self-help books. Or keep calling them self-help books. Not all of them are. Most of them, but not all. Based on this list that I saw on Pinterest titled Books That Every Woman Should Read, and I'm still trying to figure out why every woman should read this list. My hope is that I'll have some kind of an idea at the end of this, but I am not sure. But anyway, the next 4 books in this video that I'm going to be reading are Tara Brach's Radical Acceptance. Definitely something self-helpy. The back mentions our innate goddess. So it's something about self-contemplation. There's Buddhism, or at least Buddhism through the eyes of a Westerner. Then we got Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. So, badass, greatness, awesome. Sounds kind of 90s. And they always mention money as well. That's... And he also Zacharias Albert's Law of Attraction. That also mentions how to get more money. And last but not least, hopefully, is Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FCK. I've seen some people online reading this, but I don't remember what they thought of it, because they were reading but they hadn't finished, so... I'm gonna start with Radical Acceptance, mainly because it's the thickest, and I'm kinda like... Well, honestly though, I've already started, so... because it's the thickest, Yeah, but like I said last time, I am prejudiced. I have prejudice towards this type of books. I will be mocking them, I will be mean, and I will not be nice. I will do my best to not talk about the authors themselves, because I am talking about the books, about the content of the books, and the authors, I'll try not to talk too much about them. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've already started Radical Acceptance. So it already started with this, with the author talking about someone who she used to know a while back, speaking about being her own best friend, and that kind of struck a chord with me, because that's what I've been saying for quite a few years now. Personally, I've been on this like mission to be my own best friend, because the way that I was treating myself and speaking to myself, I would never do that to another person, and I was just like, why am I doing that to myself? That doesn't sound very smart. So when that's the first thing that comes in this book that I have quite a few trepidations about, I'm like, oh dear. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so right now I cannot with this book. Just I cannot. Hang on. I mean, okay, well, I'm not gonna show you, but with this book right now, it is so... I don't really know what, but I'm just not capable of comprehending it right now, or reading it, or accepting it. I'm not capable of radically accepting anything that is in here. It just feels... I don't know. So, oh no! I'm moving on to this one. It's a little easier, at the very least it has some humor. I think that's the problem with this one. There's no humor. It's taking itself extremely seriously. I cannot. This one at the very least has some humor. There is, however, a little bit of that, you must accept that there is some sort of higher power in order for you to be a badass, and I do not subscribe to that kind of thinking. But at least I'm capable of reading this book, so it's a little easier. So yeah, I gave up on that one for the time being. for the time being. I can't remember if I've actually filmed the first part, so this is going well. But yes, so an update on my reading. My second of 4 planned videos on these self-help books that I started last year. So this is going well. Because of course, when you start on a project, you like, oh well, this is gonna be easy. I'm just gonna focus, something that I'm not that fantastic at, and just get them all done. I'm not even halfway done, but so right. So You Are a Badass. It's the first one I got done. I think I got it done in like September or something. Yeah. It's the tail end of February. It's the last week of February. Tomorrow is the 29th. Yeah, that's how well this has been going. But to my credit, I finally managed to finish Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. Am I gonna be so dramatic to say that this book put me in a reading slump? Because I was kind of dreading reading it. I'm not gonna be dramatic. I'm not. What I will say about this book is that it is very well written. Tara Brach does know how to write. There were some stories that she was sharing with her clients. I really want to say customers, but I think client is a better word. That were, brought me to tears. And I will grant Tara Brach that she can write. I just don't care for this book. Like, I'm not that. So, I did expect to not like these books because what's the word I'm looking for? I am predisposed to distrust these type of books. I think that's the nicest way of putting it. So what is this book about? Buddhism. Essentially, it's Buddhism. I would go further and say LA-based Buddhism, which I'm sure that there are documentaries, and if I am a very, very smart woman, which I probably am not, I would go and find at least 1 or 2 available on YouTube, because they have to be, about Buddhism, particularly the ones in America, and particularly ones in LA, because even as an Icelander with a passive interest in these things, is there a way for me to talk about this without sounding some kind of ism? Because I don't think there is. Because when you know even the slightest bit about certain aspects in regards to LA and its culture, its particular culture and particular mindset, and the things that come out from this area, in particular in regards with this, with people's search for a sense of belonging, of spirituality, and all that. I'm desperately searching for a way to be polite about this, but chapter 2. My dear, that was a cult. You were in a cult. And there's a lot of conversation that you can have about what effect having been in a cult will have on a person's mentality and personality, and how they express themselves and how they interact with other people, but that's not where I'm going. With this book, I can't remember if I gave it 2 or 3, because it's not a bad book, it's just not for me. That rhymed. I'm getting really good at this rhyming thing. I think I am getting a little bit more of a handle of what exactly that dumb list was all about. I think I'm getting a better flavor of it. Now that said, this book is not bad. It is well written. It does tug at you. But did I skim read it? Yes, because that was the only way I was ever going to get through this. Because this was a bit of a millstone. A bit of a millstone around my neck. And I have to say that as soon as I got this book finished, I have been reading quite a bit more. So there's that. Not for me. But I finished it. It's done. It's not terrible. It's not the worst book I've read. And I have started Zacharias Albert's Law of Attraction, and way thinner. Way thinner. I'm currently chapter 4, page 45. This book is I did not use like highlighter. I didn't write in the margins or anything. This one, okay, where this one was a very good example of how to phrase things to get people to understand what you're talking about, even with repetition, even with, repeating quite a few times. This one beats you over the head with a large mallet and thinks it's subtle. Like, how am I? So this is self-published, and it really reads like a book that is self-published. It really could have done with heavy editing, which I'm not sure if the... I don't want to be mean to people. I don't want to be mean to the authors. But this could have done with quite a lot of editing. A lot of editing. If you're gonna sell a product, you're gonna sell a book, you're gonna sell a text, and in particular when it's about a certain way of thinking, you're going to need to write really well. I'm being mean. You know what? I think the thing that is, I'm gonna say annoying me most about this book is basically the way it's written. I think I've been trying to figure or remember. I think it was in chapter 1, like beginning pretty much. Oh yeah, page 3. Just grabbing here into text. The law of attraction made a huge comeback in the 1800s. It caused a great industrial revolution at the time, and the drive is still very much present till now. There is no data to back this up. But when you study and observe American history, you will observe this. There are references to science that are not very scientific. I am not someone who is well versed in science, but as someone who is raised on science, to respect science, also question it, because that's what science is about. You are not supposed to believe science like some kind of religion. That's the antithesis of science. You're supposed to question it. But you're going to need actual science to back your stuff up. As much as I was skim reading this one, I'm not reading this that much faster, because I am I am being mean, I am mocking it, and I'm writing things even in Icelandic. And usually when I start writing in Icelandic, when I'm reading books in English, that's when you know that I don't have the words for it in English, and I just switch over. But at least I'm having fun. But at the same time, because I am still trying to figure out this list. And as much as I feel like I'm getting a kind of like feel of what the thought process is behind that list, like what kind of person, aside from someone like me, what kind of person would look at that list and go, something to take home from? When you have something like LA Buddhism and good vibes only, if you think it's gonna happen, it will, and if it doesn't happen, it's your fault. At least the cover is pretty. Like, they're both purple. And I think, and that's just my opinion, probably chosen because purple has generally been described as a deep and thoughtful color for the depth of the soul and mind and blah blah blah. Anyway, now I need to figure out whether or not I actually filmed something with You are a badass. I don't like this book. I absolutely do not like this book. Apart from the cover looks nice. So what's the problem with it? It's telling, not informative. It tries to use science without understanding what the science is. It's trying to tell me to smile because that smiling makes me happy. It's I don't like it. It could have done with a lot of rewriting. Could have done with a lot of editing. It could have done with a lot of rewriting. And actually having something to say. Now, I knew at some point I would come across a book that I would just not like. I don't like that I don't like it. I expected to not like it. Not by virtue of it being in a self-help genre, but when I'm annoyed because I just read like what do you call it? Radical Acceptance, and that one is well written. It's not for me, but I can admit that it's well written. It has something to say, just not to me. Law of Attraction. You know, I am not one of those readers who gives out 5 stars like candy. 5 stars for me is very rare, and it should be rare. At least on Goodreads, because like literally when you look at when you hover over the stars, like 5 stars it's amazing, and very few books are amazing. 4 stars means that I like it. There's a lot that I like, but very few books that are amazing. Most of the self-help books so far have been 3 stars, maybe 2 stars. This one is a 1 star. And I generally cannot remember if there's any other 1 star in my sales on Goodreads. I generally think that a 1 star is more rare than a 5 star for me, so I'm annoyed, I'm disappointed. It's self-published, so don't like it. But onwards and upwards. There's 1 book left on this part of the series of mine. And the title has a swear word. Alright, so final update. And of course I decided to do that in the morning when I need to get going to work. But let's get this finished. It's just been taking me way too long to finish. Finished this book a while ago, and honestly I like it. Not as much cursing as I kinda thought there would be. It's honest, it's kind of my flavor of a self-help book. It's no nonsense. And yes, I really, really liked it. It's not long. Do I 100% agree with it? Of course I don't. That would be very, very weird. But I can actually recommend it, that you at least check this book out if you haven't already. So, out of the 4 books in this part of this self-inflicted inferno that I've been trying to do, this whole video has been taking me since September of last year, September of 2023. I was gonna get this all done last year. It is now May as of filming this. I'm going to get this done. So out of these 4 books, it's been months. I cannot remember what I thought about this. Probably not perfect, because that would be weird. But I feel like it wasn't like, I don't have any negative feelings right now towards it, so it will be interesting to see what I actually thought about it. This one, I'm not gonna say I put me in a reading slump, but it literally took me months to finish. It's not badly written, it's just very, very dense with a lot of things, but it is well written. The author is a good storyteller. Very clearly has been a cult for a big part of her life, whether she realizes that or not, and you really, really can tell from her writing. It's LA Buddhism, essentially. It's LA, all of that. If you're familiar with it, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. I'm not judging, it's just how things are. No. The cover is pretty. I like the color purple, but no. And yes, very much yes. So, this done. Very, very different. Final thoughts on this. This has been taking me way too long to make, first off. The plan is to not have such a long time passing until the next one. Which I do have planned. Books are staring at me right there, and I've been doing that for months. So, do I regret starting this? Not really. It's an interesting challenge. I mean, hopefully there are going to be books that I like. Hopefully this is the one and only that is a 1 star. But yeah, so that means I'm halfway done with that very, very strange little list that I found on Pinterest that just parasitized my brain. I feel like I'm getting more of a handle on what that list is apparently hoping to accomplish. It's a little disturbing. Honestly, it's very, the entire girl boss girl. What was it? Girl boss gaslight gatekeep. So yeah, hopefully I will see you again in some other video of mine. I need to get to work, so see ya. Bless bless.